Okay, so today we're going to talk about the 10 C's of cardiac health. So, a lot of these are going to be things that you've heard of before, but we're going to get a little bit more specific. And some of these are going to be items that maybe you didn't think about, or maybe you didn't think they were as important as they actually are. So, let's go through one by one, and these are somewhat in order of importance. So, the number one thing that's important for heart health is actually community. So, this can be family, this can be friends, this can be just like any social network that you have, but something where you're just actually around other humans and not just on a screen all the time. This sounds overly obvious, I'm sure, for some of you, but there's definitely a huge amount of, I will say, people my age and below that maybe prefer Netflix to actually going out and talking to other humans. So if any of you guys have ever worn any of these like fit watches that measure your recovery, and they measure your heart rate variability. So your heart rate variability is your body's ability to adapt to stress on any given day. So you want that number to be higher. And I've very consistently tracked mine, and every time I get my highest heart rate variability score, it's after family dinner night. So family dinner night, obviously we get together with the bigger part of my family. Like we eat good food, we drink wine, we hang out. And those tend to be my best recovery days. And it is because community and connecting with others is so important for our heart health. So, isolation, definitely the worst thing that can happen. That's why a lot of times cardiovascular issues get worse during things like the winter or during things like the pandemic because we're very isolated, and then that really compromises your heart health. So number two is going to be the more obvious, which is cardio exercise. This means, getting your heart rate up consistently. So you have different heart rate zones, right? So we have our resting heart rate, which is going to be in like the 60s usually. And then you have a heart rate where you're maybe just like going for a walk, which is going to be like 80 to 100. Then you have the fat burning range, which will be like 100 to 130 for most people. And then the cardio range is usually above 130, maybe up to like 150, 160. And then after you get to 160, you're kind of in like a peak zone for heart rate. So for cardio health, we want to hit the cardio zone of heart rate. So like I said, kind of that, 130 to 160 range for most people. It's a little bit age related, but a lot of the cardio machines at the gym, you'll notice actually do have a picture of that curve on it. So you can kind of see what your ideal is. But most people, if you can hit around like 145, then you'll be getting into the cardio zone. Things like high intensity interval training is also beneficial because that's where a lot of times you're getting up to, like the 160, and then you're recovering for a couple minutes, and then you're getting up to that 160 and recovering for a couple minutes. But any of those strategies are really great for heart health, and that's going to be great for managing blood pressure, and that's also going to be great for managing your blood work, like your lipid profile and your cholesterol, all those things. So don't forget about the exercise portion. Number three is eating low carb or carb restriction. So the most like well-researched diets for cholesterol management or blood pressure management are all low carb diets. So that can be things like paleo diet, which is like our ancestral diet where you're mostly eating, meat, fruits, and vegetables. That's kind of the baseline for most low carb diets. But pretty much any low carb diet that works for heart health is going to be decreasing sugar, decreasing grains, eating more fruits and vegetables and meat is, really like the basis of any carb restriction diet that works for heart health purposes. Number four is sleep. So we need to be getting that 6 to 8 hours of sleep a night to make sure that we're getting, a couple full cycles of hitting all of our different sleep zones. So any type of insomnia is definitely going to compromise heart health. And they've actually found that the root cause of a lot of blood pressure problems that people can't figure out is sleep apnea. Because if you're not getting enough oxygen as you sleep, and then you're not sleeping all the way, then it really compromises your heart health the following day. So making sure that you're getting enough sleep and then also getting good sleep is beneficial for heart health. I really do think that, you should get that 6 to 8 hours and then you should pretty much wake up effortlessly, like almost without an alarm. So if you are extremely groggy in the morning or really struggling to get out of bed, you probably are not hitting good sleep cycles or not sleeping efficiently and need to identify if you have sleep apnea or not, or if maybe you just need like magnesium or some other calming agent to help you get a good night's sleep. Like I designed my lights out supplement for myself to get better sleep because I've always struggled, and that's magnesium based and tends to really help with, getting more restful sleep so that you feel better and more refreshed the next day. Number five is caffeine. So caffeine is definitely one of those nutrients where a little bit is good, a lot of it is not good, right? So 3 to 5 cups a day has been studied to be protective of the heart, but that means like the 3 to 5 cups like on your coffee machine, right? Not 3 to 5 pots, not 3 to 5 French presses, not 3 to 5 travel mugs that are, 20 ounces a piece, right? It means literally 3 to 5 cups. Okay. And that's usually coffee that's been studied to be cardioprotective. That's not like energy drinks where you're getting like 300 to 400 milligrams a can, right? Like coffee is more like 80 to 100. So being overdosing on caffeine is not the answer for heart health. It's just getting that small dose. Number six is getting cold water fish, especially salmon. I've had many patients that have been able to like really control their cholesterol just with eating salmon a couple times a week. Also, eating grass-fed meat and eggs are important for getting enough healthy fat to balance your cholesterol ratios. You need to have these healthy fats to bring up your good cholesterol on your blood work, which helps balance out the bad cholesterol. So making sure that you're getting things like the salmon, grass-fed meat, and eggs is great, and avoiding a lot of the, deep fried things like the processed fats, anything that's looks like a chemistry equation on a label, are not going to be the things that we want. So then let's go to see if we can screen share our other picture here. Okay, so then we have our last four. So number eight is going to be fiber. We need to make sure that we are getting enough things like cellulose, things like the psyllium fibers, beta glucan, anything of that nature, or just getting 25 grams of fiber per day just from your foods. So most fiber is going to be from your fruits and vegetables, because anytime you eat, let's say like an apple or a pear, then you're going to be getting like 4 to 5 grams of fiber. That's really the fastest way to get up to the 25. It is not from grains. If you look at the back of the label of like most breads or most processed foods, you're going to realize that there's 1 or less grams of fiber in those. So it is usually going to be the fruits and vegetables or maybe like nuts and beans that are really going to help you get to those fiber numbers. Number seven is going to be cold pressed oils, like your avocado oil is great, dark chocolate, which is a fun one. Different types of nut oils, like walnut oils or flaxseed oils, can help you balance out those cholesterol ratios as well. So those are all part of that healthy fat train to balance out the cholesterol side of things. Number nine is clean air and clean water, just because anytime that we are in a high pollution load, it does negatively affect our arteries because then our arteries become kind of toxic and inflamed. So anything we can do to decrease air and water pollution in our home, whether that's air filters or water filters or getting a reverse osmosis system, just like anything we can do to have a better quality of water and a better quality of air in our day-to-day house and work atmosphere is important. And then number 10 is going to be things like hot, cold challenges. So anytime you challenge your body with something that's really hot or really cold, your arteries have to expand or contract to accommodate. And doing things like saunas or cold plunges have can actually release a lot of the same chemicals as going out for like a run or doing cardiovascular exercise. So especially if you're somebody that's maybe not in shape enough to go out and go for a run, starting with 10 or 15 minutes in a sauna or starting with like a quick, um, turn your shower all the way cold and just try to stand there for the time that it takes you to sing happy birthday or something are really great ways to challenge your arteries so they're getting a good expansion and contraction and staying muscular. The thing with like a good flexible muscular artery is it tends to not become calcified because when arteries become calcified, that's when you risk like throwing a big clot and like having a stroke. So you really want those arteries to stay as flexible as possible, and doing things like the exercise or the hot cold challenges are the main things that help keep those arteries athletic and young. So those are our tendencies for cardiac health. So they're the bigger things to consider if you have bad blood work that's showing up for you, or if you have blood pressure struggles that you're trying to control, then these are great strategies to implement.